There's a couple things that we need to know about parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel, and we should know this by now, but they never intersect. Therefore, if we have a graph, if this line is here, another line can be parallel as long as they never intersect. So those two lines would be parallel. The big thing that we're going to be talking about today is that parallel lines have the same slope. Okay, they have the same slope. Perpendicular means they intersect at a right angle. So if you see so this line would be perpendicular to this line because their intersections are at 90 degrees. Okay? In terms of algebra, the new stuff, slopes are negative reciprocals. Reciprocals. For instance, if I have 3, its negative reciprocal would be, so the reciprocal would be 3 over 1, I flip it, so 1/3, and then it would be negative. Okay? All right, so let's do a couple of practice problems, or problems in general. The first thing that you always need to do is you always need to, if it's not already, place into slope and intercept. And that's important because y equals mx plus b. We need to be able to pluck out that m and see what the slope is. So they could ask us something like this. Example 1. Our y equals 4x plus 2 and negative 4x plus y equal 2, or not 2, sorry, equal 7. Parallel. And lucky for you, the first one is already in y equals mx plus b. So I would say, okay, y equals 4x plus 2. My slope is 4. So for this one, m equals 4. For my second equation, I need to put it in y equals mx plus b. And I do that by adding 4x. So y equals 4x plus 7. And then I pluck out my m, which is 4. And I would say, okay, these are the same. And parallel slopes are the same. So yes, they are parallel. And then if you grab your calculator, it's really easy to check. So go ahead and grab your calculator. You can go to y equals, clear out anything you have in there. All right, so the first one was 4x plus 2. The other one's 4x plus 7. Okay, so we have y equals 4x plus 2. And this one's y equals 4x plus 7. So I just put them into my calculator. 4x plus 2. The second equation is 4x plus 7 graph. There's my first equation. There's my second equation. Sure enough, these lines, I know that's a little off, but those lines are parallel. They will never intersect. So yes, they are parallel. Okay? So that's one way to tell if they are parallel. The other way they're going to ask us, example 2, is they're going to say to write an equation in slope-intercept form that passes through the point, so passes through, let's do -1, 4, and is parallel to y equals 1/2 x minus 6. Okay? So this is what you do. Okay, you say, all right, so here's my point. It's parallel to this equation. So if it's parallel to this equation, parallel lines have the same slope. Parallel lines have the same slope. So I go over here, and this is already in y equals mx plus b. So I know my slope is going to be m because it's parallel to that line. So I'm going to go ahead and say m equals 1/2. Okay? Now, here's a point. They said it goes through this point. So I go ahead and take that point, -1, 4. Now I have a slope. I have a point. I'm going to use point slope. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So y minus 4 equals 1/2 x plus 1. Okay, they asked us to put it in slope-intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. So I need to distribute. 1/2 times 1 is positive 1/2. And then I add 4. So y equals 1/2 x plus 9/2. Now it's in slope-intercept form. And sure enough, remember, it's supposed to be parallel, same slopes. My slope is the same as up here as before. Okay, that's my new line. They could also write an equation that is perpendicular to y equals -4x minus 1 that passes through the point -1, -4. Yeah, okay. So I go through here and I see that it says perpendicular to this line. Okay? Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocals. Opposite reciprocal slopes. So if I go to my current line, my slope is -4. So it's negative reciprocal, or it's opposite reciprocal. If it was negative, now it's positive. 4/1, flip it, now that's 1/4. So my new slope, I'm going to go ahead and go over here, is 1/4 because these are perpendicular lines. Now I take the point that they gave me, which was -1, -4. And did it tell me? Let's say that this one also told us to put it in slope-intercept form. Okay, so y, they gave me a point, they gave me a slope, so I need to use point slope. Okay, so y plus 4 equals 1/4 x plus 1. That's point slope form. I want to put it in slope-intercept, so I have to distribute. And I subtract 4. Y equals 1/4 x. Let's see. So I have negative, what is that, 16/4? So -15/4. I think so, at least. Yeah, -15/4. Now it's in slope-intercept form. And so to go back and check real quick, perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So my line is a 1/4 x. The original was -4, so that's true. All right, so that's all you're doing. Here are some practice problems. Okay, so for the first two, you're just going to tell me which equations are parallel, not two R's, parallel, and which are perpendicular. All right, here's the first set. Y equals 2/3 x plus 3. Y equals 3/2 x. And then, and then 2x minus 3y equals 8. Sorry. All right, here's B. Y equals 4x. X plus 4y equals 12. And 4x plus y equals 1. Okay? And then all of these, you're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, you're going to write all of these in slope-intercept form. All right, so if you were given the equation, so we want this one to be parallel. It's going to be parallel to y equals 4x minus 1, and it's going to go through the point -2, -6. B, we're going to do perpendicular. And let's do perpendicular to y equals 1/2 x minus 6, going through the point -4, 3. Parallel again to y equals -1/4 x minus 4 through the point -2, 3, and perpendicular. So let's do perpendicular to y equals -3x plus 5, going through the point -1, -2. All right?